We're here in the grand finals of the KSL number 77. It is Independence Day in the United States of America. And we're going to find out if the underdog non-Korean can win, much like the Americans did against the Brits so long ago. In the upper right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Italian stallion, Reynor, Basilisk's own. Playing for the first time in KSL, already in the finals. Can he take down the Korean opponent in the lower left? Koreans have won the majority of KSLs by far. Of 77, Koreans have won 76. I don't know. I don't know if the underdog can do it. There's a strong Korean in the lower left here. We've got Classic, currently playing for Virtus Pro. It's a tough match. I'm trying to make the Independence Day metaphor make sense, but it doesn't really work. If we had an American in here, we could make it work. But Reynor is in Korea at the moment, so he is playing in this week's KSL. I've heard Clem is in Korea as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get him in today. Imagine a Reynor Clem finals in the Korean tournament. Imagine a world. Classic took down a Hero to get here. Hero was maybe the best hope at taking Reynor down in these finals, but Classic said, no, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. Reynor took down Beyond in the semifinals to get here. Hopefully we get a nice, good match ahead of us. And Reynor could be only the second non-Korean player to win a KSL. Oliveira won a KSL many moons ago. But Clem fell short when he played. Special also got to the finals, but wasn't able to clinch victory. And we'll see. We'll see if Reynor can do it. Reynor might also be the only one with a 100% win percentage if he wins this one. Because the chances of him playing in another KSL are pretty low. I mean, I guess I don't know how long he wants to stay in Korea, but I feel like pretty low. So it'd be funny if he ended up being the person with a 100% win ratio, because I don't think anybody else who's won a KSL only played in one KSL. Clem would be the only other one that got close. I feel like Sue played in a few of them. He's the only other person who's won that may have only played in one, but I think he did play a couple more. Anyways, got a couple of Adepts trying to sneak in here, but Reynor just going to shove him away. Oracle is coming across the map now as well. Seem to be shaping up pretty well here on Ultra Love. Ooh, those Adepts shade back in, actually. As the Oracle gets here as well. The Adepts will go down, but it's going to be 4 dead drones. And Classic's going to be pretty happy with that. No, I believe these guys are both playing in RSL a little bit later. They're not playing each other, though, if I'm not mistaken. But I imagine this is a nice warm-up for that. Get them ready, get them cooking, get them feeling good. It actually might be good that Classic took out Hero in the semifinals, because Hero has to play Reynor later. So it might have been a little awkward if they played each other now, only to have like a bigger money match later on. I think there's a little more riding on the RSL match, so I don't know, maybe we could have gotten some off racing. Yeah, Oracle's gonna come back in. They get a drone, they get a second drone, get some annoyance here, but not a ton of damage being done. Oh, Classic's playing against Clem tomorrow. And Reynor and Hero are playing in about 6 hours. Yeah, it's about 2 p.m. in Korea right now. You know, there's early afternoon matches, and they can go get some dinner and play again this evening. Hope you guys are watching that. I am gladly on the RSL Patreon, helping to support StarCraft as much as I can, as are we all. There's quite a few adepts coming in here. Not a lot of lings left right now, but so far Reynor's been doing a good job keeping the drones away, even if the adepts are staying alive pretty long. Oracle's coming in now as well, just to help the adepts out against the lings. A lot of dead lings, but again, not a lot of dead drones, and I feel like that's the key here. 4 dead drones for all of that. I mean, that was 8 adepts. I think that was 6 of those adepts. Get 4 more drones, but they get a lot of lings. That's kind of the big trade there. But as we look at the resources lost, that's pretty much dead even. So I think Reynor's going to be pretty happy with that, keeping many of those drones alive. Classic doesn't have the adepts anymore to help him defend back at home. But Classic's already getting into a pretty quick storm here with his blink and +1. I kind of like the quick storm. I don't know if that's super common. Honestly, it does feel like a kind of a Classic thing to do. Go for quick storm. I feel like he does that against Terran too. And there's not a lot of other Protosses that do that. Maybe against Zerg, it's a little more common. But I don't know. I feel like I don't see Storm against Zerg as much as maybe we used to. So it's kind of cool to see Classic going straight for that. And it might surprise Reynor a little bit. I'm not sure if he saw the High Templar earlier. I don't think he did. He does have a Ling running around, but High Templar, they're kind of hiding back here. Keeping to themselves. And yeah, if Classic can surprise Reynor with that at some point, that could be pretty nice, because it is Ling Hydra right now. Hive is on the way, as is the Lurker Den, so Reynor is heading towards that kind of standard late game you're going to expect to see in this matchup. But until then, his units are very susceptible to splash damage. It's all light units. And these lings like to clump. Classic's going to try to take advantage of that. He is, I mean, he's starting to push in right now. He's got a lot of storm energy. Reynor's coming in for a surround on the backside. A couple of Zealots, though, are actually going to give Classic the heads up that he needs to worry about this. He's trying to hang out in this little choke point because the lings won't get a lot of surface area, and then he can just blast them with some storms. The High Templar, by this point, I do think have been spotted, so Reynor understands that storm is a big danger here. But he's going to dive forward anyways. A couple of storms go down. Ooh, good pickoff of that Archon. Big Daddy Archon going to be brutal against those lings. And Reynor just holding down right now. He's got a couple of lurkers on the way. His hive is done. Those lurker upgrades are coming out. He just needs to chill. Classic wants to get some damage done, but these storms are really hurting his own Zealots. Not a ton of storm energy left, but still a little bit. Lurkers starting to shoot out their spines. Warp Prism is going to move around. Classic heading towards this base. There is the base in the upper left corner. It's kind of a safer base. I don't think he really knows about it, but he wants to get some real damage done here. Oh, the storm energy is so low. I feel like Classic, actually, does he have storm energy left? I don't know that he does. He's got maybe one. I actually don't know if he's got one. There it is. This guy has one. Oh, but they're walking right into the lurkers. What was that storm? Oh, I think that might have been where the Warp Prism was supposed to go, set up. But Classic is going to pull back. He sees this base now. He's going to go for that base. Reynor is just going to let it go. And in the meantime, Classic back at home's got Tempest on the way. Fourth base, not very saturated. We see he's sending some probes over there now, it looks like. Maynarding them down. But not been mining a ton from that fourth in the meantime. Mothership starts up, as does Tectonic Destabilizers for those Tempests. Ling's looking to see what's going on here. I think Reynor does know about that 4th base, so he's just checking to see if there's a 5th base or anything like that. Of course, he is on 4 bases, and that's not great for the Zerg to be on equal bases with the Terran, or the Protoss. Words are hard. It's not too bad in this situation, though, with the kind of armies that they have. Reynor has a very high-tech army. If he can get some Vipers out, I feel like. I don't know. I know he's seen the Tempests. He knows the Tempests are there. I guess he doesn't really have the gas for it just yet, so he does need a 5th base. I like the double expand choice here. He doesn't have a ton that shoots up. 11 Hydras, but no Vipers. Getting those underneath these is going to be tough, even with their little lunge ability. And Classic's going to try to use those Tempests and these Storms to zone that army back. Feels really nice for Classic, but you know what feels pretty nice for Reynor? That there's an army over here. Mothership coming in to help defend. Again, not a lot of anti-air. Only 5 Hydras. I'm actually not sure who wins that fight. With the Tempests, I feel like it's not the Hydras. And that's a bit unfortunate right now for Reynor, who doesn't have any anti-air against the air units defending back at home. And Classic is blasting through these bases. Reynor is going to go ahead and drop a Nidus Swarm in the back of the natural and see if he can get something sneaky done, but he needs to come back and deal with this army, at least force a recall, because he's on top of his natural. That's the Hive. He is just going to gun that down. Nidus Swarm goes down. Anything in that is going to have to come out of one of these heads, but there's nothing in it. Reynor is going to tap out. Classic takes game number 1. GG. Ooh. Really solid game there from Classic. It felt like Reynor was... he was being very patient in trying to deal with that army, but he didn't really have the tools. Just that first attack with the High Templar, the Storms, there for Classic. He ended up... I don't know. I feel like Reynor was really struggling in dealing with that. He was trying to be as patient as possible, just buy time, just buy time, just buy time. But during all of that, his 5th base wasn't doing anything. It eventually died. Those Storms were just so tough to deal with. And then by the time he got into Lurkers, got a good Lurker count to deal with the ground army, Classic back at home had Tempest coming out. And that just felt like the Tempest plus the 3 or 4 Immortals that were out. By the time Classic pushed, ended up being too much for Reynor to deal with. GG. Really nicely played by Classic. That went exactly how he wanted it to. And now Reynor's going to have to figure something else out. As we get into the lobby for game 2, we're going to be going to Incorporeal. I don't think we've seen this map today. All right. We're getting in Reynor versus Classic, game number 2. I feel like for a lot of people, Classic win there might be a bit of a surprise. I don't know. Reynor's just been... he's just a dominant player, you know? Feels tough to beat him, especially for the Protosses. But I do feel like Classic has been looking real strong lately. We'll see if he can keep it up. So getting a game number 2 here on Incorporeal. In the upper left-hand corner, we've got Basilisk's Reynor. Just talking about how much I like Basilisk earlier. I have a whole shelf. It's not quite a whole shelf. It's a big part of the shelf, though, dedicated to basilisk things. Because I have some basilisk merch. And you know what? It's pretty cool. Because basilisk is pretty cool. Anyways, you know who else is cool? His opponent in the lower right-hand corner. Playing for Virtus Pro, it is Classic. All things looking pretty normal here. Let's see. Incorporeal. This is a map I haven't seen as much from this map pool. You got the flat here into the natural. Doot. Okay, alright. Ah, the watchtower in the middle. That's fun. I like the little... You can only get to one side of the watchtower. Does feel like it's going to be another macro map. Oh, this base doesn't have any gases. Who needs gas? You know? Okay, so not a ton of bases on this map, particularly since these don't have gases. Looks like we have some destructible debris here. Sorry, I'm going through this map. You guys have probably seen this map 1,000 times, but I don't cast as much StarCraft these days as I used to, so... New map pools take me a while to get used to. I feel like I was just really getting quite familiar with the last map pool when we got the new map pool. Which will probably happen again with this one. I'll be like, okay, I know all the maps. I know how each matchup works on each map. I'm feeling good about it. New map pool. I'd say it's rude, but it's really my own fault. Some Adepts coming across the map once again. Very standard, same build here at a Classic. Just trying to put some pressure on. Link speed's almost done for Reynor, though. So I don't think these Adepts should finish that shade. And they are, indeed, going to not finish that shade. We'll see if Classic does the same kind of build. I feel like I expect them to change it up a little bit. You don't want to get too predictable in these kinds of matches. Oh, Oracle overstayed its welcome. Taken out by the Spore Crawler. I feel like Classic's usually pretty good about not losing those. Makes the second Oracle not quite as scary, although it looks like it's going to go ahead and get 3 more drone kills, so that's pretty nice. Very nice for Classic. He's been very good at finding little bits of damage. Even if it feels like Reynor's defense is quite good. There's always a drone here or a drone there for those Oracles to pick off. I wonder if Reynor gets to talk to Dark at all. I know Dark is doing his military service, but that just means he can't play competitive StarCraft. Like, when you're in the military in Korea, you can't make money from other sources. So he can't play in tournaments and stuff and make money from them. But, like, maybe he could still chat with Reynor about Zerg strategies. I feel like he'd be the guy Reynor would want to talk to. and figuring out how to deal with these Adepts. Although Reynor, again, he did deal with them pretty well last game, and it feels like he's doing a pretty good job this game as well. That's going to be 4 dead drones. Doesn't even get that 5th one because of the transfuse. Reynor cares about his drones. He believes in healthcare for all drones. It's not very American of him on this Independence Day. Ha! Got him. But he does have a Spire. And a big Air Force. Very American. It does look like we have the same general build here out of Classic. Storm is on the way. Blinken +1. I don't think Classic knows about that Spire. That's going to be an important thing for him to try to get into, but it's a tough spot to scout. His probes are under attack. That being said, Muta's pretty susceptible to Storm. I mean, they can get out of it pretty quickly, so I don't usually take too much damage from it, but can still be a good way to defend against them. Definitely better than just having Blink Stalkers. Archon's also quite strong against Mutas. But +1 starts up. Ooh, Reynor. Reynor is feeling spicy about these Mutas. You'll love to see it. Yeah, I mean, Storm versus Mutas isn't great, but it can be a deterrent. Yeah, don't storm your mineral line. That's true. That's true. I think Classic knows that. We'll see. We'll see. The Mutas are moving around the left side. Lings are sharking around, feeling like they want to put some pressure on, but Blink Stalkers are here. However, that's very good for Reynor. This is exactly what he wanted. He wanted the Blink Stalkers trying to deal with these Lings. That's a lot of Lings, though, man. That's too many Lings for these Blink Stalkers. They're going to find a corner, and the Oracles are going to go for him. But now the Mutas come in. They kill the cannon. Actually, they kill the shield battery. Then they kill the cannon. They're going to get out of here for now. But I feel like a lot of Blink Stalkers went down as well. Oof. Okay, the Storms smack the Lings. Force the Archon morph. Classic does have more Storms available. Yeah, see, just even a split second of Storms, man, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Those Mutas regenerate quite quickly, though, so they just kind of fly around a little bit. No shield battery here. That cannon goes down very quickly. Phoenix is coming out. 2 at a time, actually. Anti-Impulse Crystal starts up. Okay, this is actually... yeah, see, I feel like this is playing a little bit into where Classic was teching. Last game we saw those Tempests come out. Classic was prepared to do the exact same thing, which means he already had 2 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. So he can start up that Phoenix range and double build Phoenixes. And that gives him a much better chance at dealing with these Mutas in a more consistent way. I feel like Classic's doing a great job here. Storm just so helpful against this. And Reynor trying a different tactic against Classic. Classic's doing a good job defending, but he is defending, which means Reynor, he's up and running. 85 drones, 5 bases. Can he find a way in? Well, that remains to be seen. But he's getting some damage done here. High Templar going down, Archon going down. However, the Phoenix count is up to a pretty reasonable 6. And range is done. That's going to make it a lot harder for Reynor to get these Phoenix kills. He does grab one, at least for now. Almost grabs the second one. But now the Mutas have to run completely home. Oh, okay. Classic not watching there for a second. Loses a couple more Phoenixes. Of course, he is still building 2 at a time. Corruptor's coming out now. This is becoming a strange army. Strange army situation But it's kind of to be expected. Classic has +1 on the way. He realizes this is going to be a bit of an air army fight. Cannons, Blinkstalkers, Storm, and Archons all going to be very important in that ground army for Classic. Where is his army right now? The mutas are coming in. Okay, there are the Phoenixes responding quickly, but the Corruptors are here. Phoenixes don't deal with them particularly well, but you know what? Stalkers do. And the Corruptors, they're better than the mutas, but they're not 100%, man. Phoenixes are pretty good. This is why Roddy's been playing Phoenix heavy for the last 15 years. He knows it, man. These guys are good units. And that's going to be a lot of dead mutas. Oh, man. This just feels like Classic is taking a great fight against these mutas. The Ling's getting in. They are getting 13 probes. That's some good economic damage, remember. Reynor back at home is on 84 drones. But he's still making mutas and Lings. And I feel like at some point he needs more complexity in his army. The Hive only just started, and he just doesn't have anything else, man. Classic's army is good. His army is good. I mean, it's just a better army. It would be better if he had the High Templar and maybe a couple Archons with this, but it's just a better army. Reynor knows that. He's going for the classic Ling Muta tactic of just base trading. You're going over here, I'm going to the other side of the map. Couple of Zealots warp in to try to delay this, but the mutas are coming too. The Corruptors are coming. Classic could recall home. He's killed a base. He is going to lose a base. Mutas are going to keep moving in. The Phoenixes are coming back. They think they can deal with this air army on their own. This is a bit awkward. This is a bit awkward now. I don't really know where we go from here. The Phoenix is coming back, trying to take a fight against the Corruptors. I'm not sure if they win that fight, though. These Corruptors have +2. And these Phoenixes are not winning the fight. There are Archons down here, though. And it turns out those guys are pretty good. So this natural is holding pretty decently. But Reynor's going to tap out as Classic is wiping his bases. And Classic goes up 2-0 in this best of 5. GG. The game's getting more intense with the frame rate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the frame rate issue is. I feel like it got a little bit better. I was just like closing some tabs and stuff, but I'm gonna have to. My frame rate was bad just at the start of the games today, and I feel like it's not usually that bad. So I don't know what it is that's running that's making my frame rate go down so much. It's funny because like StarCraft's such an easy game to run. But you know, to stream StarCraft, you have to run multiple different other softwares. And unfortunately, all of those are not as easy to run. And sometimes things like interact weirdly with StarCraft. StarCraft has this thing where it all runs on one core of your CPU. So no matter how many cores you have, StarCraft's running on one. Which means if you're putting some pressure on your CPU, even if you're spreading out that pressure across the board, that one that StarCraft's going through is the only one that matters. And if another program is trying to use that one too, sucks to be you, dude. You're just gonna get crappy performance. And it's a really annoying thing to deal with sometimes. We'll see if my frame rate's any better. So far, it's a little bit better. No, it's terrible. God, that's abysmal. Yeah. Crazy. 40 FPS. Well, RIP. That's all right. You know, we'll make it through. We'll make it through. It might be a little too warm. You know what? I'm going to crack the window open. It is summertime. So it's possible that the warm computer is just having a worse time dealing with this than a cool computer. It could also be that my computer is kind of old and I should update it. That's a rough thing. It's a rough thing. I don't want to think about. Anyway, spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Persephone, we've got our red Zerg player. It is Basilisk's Reynor. And his opponent in the lower left. As we are in Persephone, they're both on the left. It's all left side. It is Virtus Bros Classic. Persephone was the first map of the day, and it would be something else if it was the last map of the day too. I'm kind of hoping not, because I'd like Reynor to close the gap here. But also, I feel like this pylon belongs there. And Classic seems to disagree. Why would you do this to me, Classic? Why would you... There's a spot for it, you know? Like, it's right there. This reminds me of that map that had the, like, spot for a base. I feel like it was like a third base or something. And it was just off. It was just like a little bit off. And so all the bases just looked like they were a little bit off, but it was actually the decal on the ground. It's hurting my soul. At least Reynor has the decency to just cover his up. No, I mean, honestly, the frame rate issue has been going on for a while. I feel like I'm noticing it more today than I have in weeks past, but it's also possible that I'm just paying more attention today than I have in weeks past. It's really unfortunate. I don't know. I'll try to look into seeing if I can minimize some of the other things that are happening. That might be eating some processing power, but it's tough to know exactly what the problem is. Reynor lost a drone there. Oh my god, that never happens. That drone wasn't able to build a spore crawler in time. Speaking of spore crawlers, Oracle is running in now. The spore crawler's not quite done yet. So Oracle's going to go ahead and get 2 kills. Might even get a 3rd one and a 4th one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, man, Classic. Getting 6 drone kills at this stage of the game it's pretty massive. So far, we've seen that the first 2 Adepts and the first Oracle haven't really been getting much done. But now, only losing 1 Adept for 6 drones. Really nice start for Classic, and Reynor's going to need to figure out what he wants to do to try to deal with Classic's build. Because so far, Classic, he's just gotten to do what he wanted. And last game, the Mutas did make it a little more complicated, going for the defense with the Mutas, against the Mutas, rather. But he was still pretty well set up for it. And Reynor wasn't able to tech or get any sort of, I don't know, follow-up to the Mutas before Classic was ready to attack. And, well, we saw the end result. We see the end result in the score here. Well, it looks like Classic's changing it up a little bit. This is very interesting. Honestly, I really dig it. We'll see if it pays off for him. But considering games 1 and 2, it was the same build out of Classic, and it was Reynor shifting things around. It feels like, if you're Classic here, you could just do that same build again. And it's almost like practice against whatever Reynor's throwing at you, right? You're up 2-0. Why change what's working? But by that same token, Reynor might be expecting you to stick with it, and you could do something slightly different. Where even if an Overlord went in, it might look basically the same. Overlord's not going in, but it looks basically the same. It's just that Classic is going for an Archon charge lot push here. Multiple gateways finishing up. No gases down here just yet. He's going to take them now. It looks like it's not any sort of all-in, but he's going to have a lot of charge lots at his disposal very shortly. He did some good damage early on, and maybe that's what's triggering him to do this. There is a Roach Warren done for Reynor, so he could build roaches, which would be really nice against this. Unfortunately, he hasn't started them yet. So there's 3 roaches on the way. The Hydra Den is done, but the charge lots and the Archons are here. So nice positioning on the Spore Crawler. So Archons need to be a little careful. Warp Prism needs to stay back. Queen's coming up to try to help out, but they're getting pushed away as well. Drone's starting to go down here. Roaches are popping out. Archons are pretty far away from the Warp Prism. They don't seem to mind too much. It's so many Zealots. Spore Crawler moving around to try to catch this Warp Prism, but it's just not happening, and it's starting to feel like Classic might just have done too much damage here. And I think we might have, once again, the KSL keeping the tradition alive of the non-Korean favorite getting to the finals, but just not being able to do it. Those Korean players, man, they get like a +6 when they're in Korea. GG. Classic takes the 3-0 victory against Reynor. I would say not the expected result, but man, what a great series. What a great series from Classic. Just solid. Just so good. GG.